Let's get Think Automation to go and do some work for us. Now, the example I'm going to use is a lookup of a database to get some information. We're going to get a customer's ID, and using that ID, it's actually their Stripe customer ID, and we're going to then ask Stripe's API to return us some information. In here, you'll notice there is a number of comments. For the sake of this, I'm just going to delete these out because we don't need them there, and I don't want this to look confusing, so just remove them all. Okay, so firstly I'm going to define some blank variables. The reason I want these blank variables is because I'm going to need to store some information effectively. So let's just create these. So the first I'm going to create is Stripe ID. We'll set another variable, let's drop that in underneath, and we'll call this Stripe data. And finally another variable which is going to be called invoice ID. These are blank, nothing's been assigned to them, they're just there so I can reference them. Next we're going to want to look up from a database. So look up from database, this is going to be after, I'll just show you that. This is going to be after the message has been parsed by Think Automation. This database is going to be, for simplicity, an SQL-like database, and it's conveniently placed on my desktop. Let's test a connection. That's all working, test successful. Okay. Then I'm going to need a query. So the query I'm going to write is select the Stripe ID from accounts where the email matches, and then I'm going to put in this parameter here. And this is going to be email. This is going to be text. We're expecting text. And the value will be a variable which has been defined for us, which is message text after name. So after the name Bob, we want that bit of text, and that's what we're going to use to do the lookup. Finally, down here in the column assignments, we're only going to be returning one column, but it's going to be Stripe ID, and we're going to define that, well, assign it rather to the variable of Stripe ID. Let's click OK. And then here, in the message that's been returned from Think Automation, just to show you that this is working, I'm going to have hello Think Automation, or hello from Think Automation, the Stripe ID is, and then we will put the variable in here, Stripe ID. So click OK, and we'll save that. And we'll just do a test. So I'm going to say Bob, and then give it an email address which is in this database. So let's say alice@gmail.com. And Think Automation has returned with the message, hello Nathan Walters from Think Automation. The Stripe ID is this. So this is the customer ID. And just to test that again, we're going to do cat@gmail.com, and there you go, there's another customer ID being returned there. So we can see this part of the automation is working as expected.